Yes.
You know, you have some people who think things should be given to them and refuse to work for it. And like you were just saying a few moments ago, a good friend of mine, Apostle Lorenzo Irvin, he made a statement. He said, "The kingdom of God is inexhaustible."
Right.
You'll never, get to the end of anything as it relates to provision when it comes from the kingdom.
Right.
And so, but you also have people who refuse to work at it. How can you expect anything from God, who's the gift giver?
Right.
The gift giver. How can you, and you don't have a relationship with him?
Got you.
Because I believe that when you start thinking about creativity is, you can't be creative without inspiration.
True.
Right? Who just ups and do anything without being inspired to do it? When you think about anybody creative, they need things a certain kind of way. Your whole house could be messy, but where you're working at is going to be on point because you need an atmosphere where you can work at. You need the atmosphere set. We always think about it in worship,
right.
Setting the atmosphere.
Right, exactly.
And what do we set the atmosphere for? For something to be created, something to happen.
Yeah.
And so, the thing is, you can't do that apart from having a relationship with God. That needs to, because what happens is what He's doing in the kingdom, what He's doing through kingdom musicians, singers, models, actresses, and things of that nature. There's only two places you're going to be inspired from. There's only going to be either demonic influence or divine.
Gotcha.
There's no
Gotcha.
in between. And so I believe the new things that God wants to introduce to us by way of media and entertainment that'll actually, I believe, cause us to actually recover some things that have been taken from the church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those things God is not going to trust just anybody. And I believe me and you talked about that a couple weeks ago, where there are certain secrets that God is still hiding from those that He can't trust.
Yeah.
And that, I'm telling you, that's what is keeping me here in Chicago. Because I'm like, it hasn't all been manifested yet.
Yeah.
And, when you see, one of the things that I'm keen on is the fact that the music industry, ever since like streaming and MP3 downloads happened, the whole industry's been in like a tailspin. Now there's been a lot of brilliant people who figured out ways around that and how to use social media, but by and large, that whole situation has not been solved. Record labels don't know how to be profitable anymore. They're trying a lot of different things right now, but because of the internet, it gave people
social
freedom.
media.
Yeah.
It gave people freedom, and they realized I don't have to pay $20 for a record. I only want like one song off of that's going to end up scratching up. A little later I'm going to have to rebuy it. So, I think that the creativity to solve those problems comes directly from God. I think that there is a lot of stuff that hasn't been released. Yeah, so it's hard being an artist, an independent artist. I've watched my wife walk this road, and she's walking it right now. One album done, and
what's the name of the album, by the way?
Victorious One.
Yeah,
Like I said,
there you go.
Right. It's on iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff.
Cheap plug.
Right. Shameless.
Yes.
But, I think that we're talking about artists who aren't prepared, who are just kind of, we're talking about like the spectrum. Those who just kind of throw stuff out there, and then those who are fearful. And what would you say, just from your experience of being, a relatively new recording artist, having one album done now, what would you say are some of the challenges you feel like some of your peers probably go through?
I would say the number one challenge that people go through is, there's like either people don't have a standard at all, so it's like no standard, it's just like the noodle philosophy, let's just throw something out and see what sticks. Or their standard is so high, it's a level of perfection that they can't reach, and so they make, I'm sure you guys have met people like this that make great music, and just never put it out.
Yeah.
Because it has to be perfect. Well, it's never going to be perfect. Never. If you pick 5 of your favorite artists and you listen to their stuff from their first album to like wherever they're at now on their 10th album, you're going to be able to hear the growth along the spectrum.
You should.
So, you should. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can't be afraid. Like, no, you don't want to just put something out that's not an excellence, and not, skilled or whatever. But you know what I mean?
So let's say this, you being an artist and you being a producer, what's a good place for someone who's in the kingdom? They know they have a gift, they're creative, but they don't know exactly where to start. They don't have the big budget. They don't know all the big producers, and maybe maybe they're not at one of the major churches in Chicago. They go to the little, storefront church on Chicago Avenue. What would be a good place? What would be a good start for, that you could suggest them to start at, and really encourage them in that place? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because, the Bible talks about to despise not small beginnings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's
But most
thing.
of us, we got an issue with small beginnings.
Well, man, I'm telling you, that the whole small thing, like, that's kind of something else I want to swing back around about, because I believe there's a movement with small stuff. But I think that what I would tell that person is, if they're kingdom-based, meaning they're in a church and they're a Christian, they believe that God has given them a gift and called them to do something. The first thing I would ask them is, what are you doing at your church? Honestly, that's the first thing I would ask them. And I'm not saying that to be religious or anything like that, but honestly, God gives us all kinds of opportunities right around us to begin to start to use our gift.
I believe that.
And the problem with this free market, this open market, is that you got people cutting records who haven't put in no work. You know what I'm saying? They're not prepared.
Yeah.
And because technology allows them to just kind of throw something out there, they're doing it, but the quality is low, and they're wondering why they can't get fans, things of that sort. And I think that the first thing they need to do is to get hooked up in a church, because what that will do is that will not only give them some of the technical practice, but also start to deal with their heart. They have to have a vision from God about what they're doing.
Say that again.
They gotta have a vision. I mean, if you're kingdom based, whether you're doing, Christian music or secular, you need to have a vision.
Like, what's your why?
Like if there needs to be a reason,
Mm-hmm.
why you feel led to do this jazz record, versus, doing, Christian, gospel record or whatever. What does God reveal to you? But too many people lack the maturity, and they just start out there, And so I would tell that person to start with that. Serve. Have a servant's heart, what is your pastor? Is there something that you do that your pastor can benefit from?
Yeah.
Can you sing on the worship team? Can you volunteer to play?
All of the major streams and avenues that God has allowed me to tap into were all visions and things of that nature that were planted under my leader. And I'm 41 years old. I didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? I came right out of high school playing and traveling and doing things of that nature. So I've been a musician a long time. But there were certain things that I didn't get initially. And so when I came to the church that I'm part of 8 years ago, I came a musician, man, but I came hungry. And I had a hunger, and I didn't know what it is. You ever been hungry for something? You don't know what it is. You're in the refrigerator looking like, man, it's full, but you just don't know what it is. What I want. And so, that's how I was when I came to that ministry. I was hungry, man. And I didn't know exactly what it is I wanted. And, I just gave myself to the ministry. You know what I'm saying? So now here you're looking at someone who, barely graduated high school, didn't go to college, and here it is 5 books later. Several nations later, and just different things that he's done for me. I don't have the education, but now I'm up and running in my own business. You know what I'm saying? And so all of these things were not dreams and goals I had prior to coming and finding my place in a local assembly.
Got you. It gave you some vision.
It gave me some vision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It broke the fear off of me too.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about fame versus impact. Okay, let's talk about the need for a huge audience or the need to impact a small group of people.
I think it's who embracing your what you've been given.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes being how I would say, be thankful for what you have in your hand. Sometimes you look at the head and don't realize what you already have. And you have people that have become famous, and grace big stage, but you also have people who become famous, through being web stars.
Yeah.
True.
They never leave their own homes and have
YouTube
big
celebrities.
YouTube sensations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they got millions of followers and supporters all over the place, and so they're not lacking anything.
Yeah. The internet makes it possible for anybody to have a global audience,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking about is just this idea of people think that the goal of, even from a Christian standpoint, is to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah.
For that one person to just, man, I'm just gonna reach a lot of people, you know? And not that there's anything wrong with that, because a lot of people are called to that, you know? But I feel that sometimes what gets lost is that we're not really thinking about the impact that we want to make with the people that we're trying to serve with our music.
Yeah.
And I think that a person, you know, who has the right heart can really focus on a small audience, at least initially, you know? Focus on what they have, you know, where their influence is, you know, expand that circle, but focus on a small audience, serve them well, you know what I mean? And that could be through the social media, blogs, whatever you do, you know,
Yeah.
and create impact, you know, with that audience. You know, don't just seek to just get in front of a lot of people, but create impact with a small audience. I personally think that if a person does that, they can not only become very successful and even wealthy, you know, they can even
Yeah.
make up a nice chunk of change, you know, doing that. But they can do it without having to become so famous they can't go to like the grocery store without like 2-3 security guards.
Right.
You know, I mean, what do y'all think? You know?
Well, I don't necessarily know that a person can actually control that. You know, you have no control over who or even how many people you influence. You do have control over the way you govern yourself and carry yourself. So I've come into contact with major people or stars or celebrities who they just refuse to live any other way other than the way they want to live. And so, you know, they have you know, they still need security, but it's not going to stop them from going into certain places and things of that nature. You know, it's character. Character says a lot. I mean, because unfortunately, you know, you have no control over. Well, you do have control over, but we still tend to judge by what we see.
Yeah.
And so when how they say, you never get a second time to make a first impression. A lot of times, you look at a person and what you see can tell you a lot of times. You'll know if this person is, they can be a star, there to sign autographs, but you can look at their demeanor, the way they handle themselves, and you can tell, oh, they're just trying to hurry up and get through this. Like I work at a children's hospital. I work at a children's hospital, and I work in a cancer area. And so, unfortunately, when you see a lot of, children at the end of their time, you see, where they'll bring in different athletes and things of that nature, making wishes come true. The kid got a chance to meet this person before they passed away, and you can look at certain athletes or stars or whatever the case may be, and you know when this is their heart, when they know the impact they're going to make on this kid's life who's about to maybe take their last breath. And then you see the other person who's there only because my agent said this is good for me.
Right. This will be a good photo.
Right.
And so what I believe, and what I think I'm saying in the gist of that is, that stuff happens when our focus get off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
At the source of who you are, if I take away the fame, the accolades, the applause, the money, do you still want to do this?
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
What's your why?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you never become famous, will that stop you from singing, from acting, from doing what you love to do?
Right.
And so that's the source of it. When you're passionate about what you do, that's what sells.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The character behind it. Because now you even have the ability, the mindset, because you're so passionate about your craft and your work and what you are. God will give you, I believe, the grace to even govern those other things.
Gotcha. And I think it is about the heart. I mean, there are people who, if you meet them, and right, they're well known, they're famous, you know what I mean? But they don't put themselves in that category where they're untouchable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the way they carry themselves.
Yeah, they want to be touched. They want to reach out. They want to know.
Whereas I think there are some people who they want to be worshipped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want people to fall out like when they walk in the store.
And then and then believe it or not, you have that person that don't care. And what I mean by the person that don't care, they really don't care about the fans per se.
Got you.
They're only concerned about their peers. So if I'm a big time celebrity, I do this because you give me your money. why I'm here. You give me your money. But when I come off stage, I want to hang with people that have money.
Right, exactly.
You know, so
Not you.
again, you know,
Right.
that's another personality and character issue. That's a, you know, that's a flaw. You know, to me, I mean, you know, especially when you think about just being, you know, I mean, it was still on the lines of being kingdom.
Yeah,
That's a major flaw, being kingdom.
yeah.
You know, you're not relational. How can you be in contact or in touch with your audience, with your listeners, if you're not relational?
Exactly.
Their opinion matters.